Welcome to the Japan Deep Dive Report. Today, we're diving into an idea that's literally hiding in plain sight all across Japan. It's an ancient belief that doesn't just put gods on mountains, but sees the mountains themselves as gods. We're talking about the incredible concept of Kannabi. And, our whole journey today starts with a really strange puzzle. So, picture this. You go to Omiwa Shrine in Nara. It's one of the absolute oldest, most important Shinto shrines in the entire country. But when you get there, something's off. There's a hall for worship, sure, but the main event, the central sanctuary building called the Honden, it's just not there. I mean, where is the god supposed to live? It makes no sense. To solve this mystery, all you have to do is lift your eyes. Because looming right behind the shrine, you'll see the stunning, perfectly cone-shaped Mount Miwa. And that's the light bulb moment. The answer isn't in some building that isn't there. The answer is the mountain. Okay, so to really get this, we need to wrap our heads around a key concept called Shintai. The word literally translates to God body. Now, in Shinto belief, a Shintai is a physical thing where a god, or kami, takes up residence. It could be a mirror or a sword, but here's the crucial part, and this is a game changer. You're not worshiping a statue of the god, you are worshiping the object as the god. It is the god's body. And that brings us to the star of our show today, Kannabi. A Kannabi is when a whole natural place, we're talking a majestic mountain, an ancient forest, you name it, is considered the Shintai. It's not just a place where a god hangs out. No, the place itself is the deity. And just like that, our mystery is solved. Which kind of makes you wonder, right? Why mountains? And especially, why these gorgeous, perfectly symmetrical, cone-shaped ones like Mount Miwa? Well, try to put yourself in the mindset of people thousands of years ago. When you see that kind of perfect, powerful shape reaching for the sky, that looks divine. It's not just a mountain, it's a natural cathedral. Of course a god would be there. And boom, it all clicks. Omiwa Shrine doesn't have a main sanctuary building because, well, how could it? You can't exactly fit a mountain inside a building. The entire mountain is the main hall. The buildings in front are just a place for us humans to stand and worship what's towering behind them. The god isn't contained in some little box. It's filling the whole horizon. All right, so we've got mountains covered. But this idea of finding the divine in nature, it goes so much deeper. This was an entire worldview, and it didn't stop at mountains. So let me introduce you to the Kannabi's close cousin, the Iwakura. Now, if a Kannabi is about the massive scale, the whole landscape, and Iwakura is more focused, think of a single colossal boulder that seems out of place, or a dramatic cliff face. These specific spots were also believed to be places a god could call home, becoming a Shintai all on their own. So here's a simple way to think about it. Kannabi is the big picture, the wide-angle shot, the entire sacred forest, the whole mountain. Iwakura is the close-up, that one specific awe-inspiring rock. It's a belief system that sees God in both the huge and the focused, the immense and the intimate. And it goes even further. Huge, ancient trees, they were seen as ladders for the gods to climb down to earth. And for a truly breathtaking example, just look at Nachi Falls. The hero's shrine nearby doesn't have a main building for the exact same reason as Omiwa Shrine. Why? Because it's God, its Shintai, is the massive thundering waterfall itself. This all brings up a pretty big question, doesn't it? If the very first things people worshipped were mountains and rocks, then how did they do it? Before all the beautiful shrine architecture we see today even existed. Turns out the original way was beautifully simple and direct. First, you'd find your sacred spot, your Kannabi mountain or your Iwakura rock. Then you'd set up a simple altar right in front of it, make some offerings, and just pray. You'd pray directly to nature, asking the god to come down. It was all about that raw, unmediated connection. But okay, what if you weren't living next to a sacred mountain? What then? Well, they had a clever solution for that, called a himorogi. Basically, you could create a temporary sacred space anywhere. You'd mark off an area, purify it, and then stick a branch from a sacred sakaki tree in the middle. That branch acted like a divine antenna, inviting the kami to come down. It was like a pop-up sacred site. So, you might be thinking this is all just fascinating ancient history. But the most incredible part is that this way of thinking isn't gone. It's not even hidden. It is everywhere in modern Japan, if you just know what to look for. In fact, this powerful symbol of the sacred Kannabi mountain has been preserved in some of Japan's most famous shrines, sometimes in forms you would never, ever expect. Oh, this is just the coolest thing. If you go to the famous Kamigamo Shrine in Kyoto, you'll see these two perfect cones made of white sand. They're called Tate-zuna. And what are they? They are symbolic models of Mount Koyama, the original Kannabi, where the shrine's god first appeared. They are man-made mountains, a direct tribute to that ancient belief, sitting right there in the middle of a major shrine. How amazing is that? And remember, Omiwa Shrine, our starting point, it's not alone, not by a long shot. Kanasana Shrine also worships a mountain. Iwafune Shrine worships a giant rock. Hiro Shrine worships that incredible waterfall. This isn't just a quirky footnote in the history books. It's a living, breathing tradition that's still practiced today.
So, here's the big takeaway. This ancient faith isn't something you find behind glass in a museum. It is physically etched into the landscape of Japan itself. It influences everything, from the way a garden is designed to the profound respect for nature you see everywhere. It's in the way a shrine gate perfectly frames a distant peak, and in the sacred ropes you see tied around ancient, powerful-looking rocks.
So I'll just leave you with this one thought. Now that you know about Kannabi, the next time you're in Japan and you see one of those beautiful, symmetrical mountains on the horizon, are you going to see just a pile of rocks? Or are you going to see something divine, the home of a god?